Okay, sixth grade, we are on day 3 of our review. Today is adding and subtracting decimals. In the first example, we added decimals. This example, we are subtracting decimals. I've got 3 different problems on the board. We're going to do all 3 here. Subtracting decimals. It's just like adding decimals where we need to line up our decimals when we write the problem vertically. So we got 7.842. And again, I'm just going to, instead of saying 7 and 842 thousandths, just to make the video a little simpler, I'm just going to say 7.842. And we're subtracting 3.35 from it. So I line up my decimal points like that. And this is subtraction. And then just like addition, anytime there's an open spot, I fill in a 0. So now I'm just going to subtract 2 minus 0 is 2. 4 minus 5 I can't do. I need to borrow. That 8 becomes a 7. That 4 is 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 7 minus 3 is 4. I bring down my decimal point just like in addition. You bring that down, line it up. And then 7 minus 3 is 4. So I got 4.492 as my answer. So again, this is pretty straightforward. Hopefully you remember this from when we did it earlier in the year. But you just line up your decimals and then you just subtract like normal. And then in the end, make sure you bring your decimal point into your answer. Okay, let's look at the next one. 93.4 minus 55.66. So again, first thing I'm doing, I'm lining up the decimals in a vertical problem. So 93.4, then I've got 55.66. So again, my decimal points are lined up. Now I have to fill in a 0 there because it was blank, so I fill in a 0. So now I need to subtract. In this case, I'm going to have to borrow right away because I can't do 0 minus 6. Borrow from the 4, that's now a 3. That becomes 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. Can't do 3 minus 6, got to borrow again. That's 2. 13 minus 6 is 7. Bring down my decimal point. 2 minus 5, sorry. Can't do, got to borrow. That becomes an 8. That's now a 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 8 minus 5 is 3. And I got 37.74. And again, your common sense can come into play here. Let's say you ended up with your decimal in the wrong place. You should be able to use your common sense. That doesn't make sense. Because 93 minus 55, if I were to get rid of the decimal points, 93 minus 55 is 38. So I should get an answer somewhere around 38. And look at that, I got 37.74, so right around 38. All right, our last one. 8 minus 3.42. So this one, I look at that first number, the 8. There's no decimal point at all. But I know if there was a decimal point, it would be right after the 8, because 8 would be the same as 8.0 or 8.00 or however many zeros you want to add. So I'm going to put my 8. Then 3.42, 3 is the whole number. That's in the ones place. So that needs to be under the 8. So 3.42. Again, I'm going to add a decimal here and fill in zeros because 8 and 8.00, they're the same thing. So then this is subtraction, and now I'm going to subtract. Look at this one. Clearly going to have to borrow. The 0 can't borrow from 0, so it's going to have to borrow over here. That's now 7. This 0 becomes a 10, but then we got to borrow from it, so it's 9. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 4 is 5. I bring down my decimal point. 7 minus 3 is 4. And I end up with 4 and 58 hundredths, or 4.58. And again, our common sense can come into play. 8 minus 3 would be 5. So we should get an answer somewhere around 5, and we do 4.58. All right, so those are the examples on subtracting decimals. You'll see then you have some practice problems to do. The answer keys on Google Classroom. Then do the accelerated math objectives. All right, have fun.